I felt it went very well. I had a lot more questions asked because the students were anonymous. They weren't pointed out in class, as some students, are very, shy to ask questions in front of a class. So it was really nice that they could just do it on their own personal device and post it. And I, as an instructor, really liked it because I was able to see which questions or where students were struggling the most, and I could just mitigate that as fast as I could. I mean, I knew, okay, they're all missing this one part, they're not getting this part, they have to see similar questions. So then I could go and adjust my lecture, maybe go back, cover it a different way, maybe do some more exercises regarding that topic. So I liked it a lot because it helps me be more manage my time in the classroom better. It helps them; they're able to express their questions without fear of ridicule,
Right.
which I still try to mitigate in my class anyway. But people are people, and so I thought it was great. I thought it was great, and my class in general, when I spoke to them after you had left, they thought it was great as well.
I liked it a lot. I can see its benefits for a larger class. That those benefits would be easier to sell. They'd be a little bit more clear. But I thought the benefits for my class were even good.
And do you want to
because-
explain your class size?
Yeah. The class size is 34, and I think on average per day probably about 28 people come, something like that. So it's obviously like small enough that students can ask questions to me face to face. But some questions came in that were kind of like, what does this mean, like a definition or something like that, where some students may not have felt super comfortable. Or there were even some logistical questions that came up that maybe I moved into the chapter, like discussing the chapter, and left out something logistic like when's the final exam, or when's this, or when's that, and that came up, so I was able to address those questions that students may have felt we were off topic at the time. It just helps to know, because a lot of questions came in at the end, so it showed me what time they came in. And so if students are asking questions at the end and it's more in like reflection, then there again might not be a lot of time for them to ask me the question in class. But I can see that and know these are the questions at the end of our hour and 15 minutes. And so obviously I need to address those if they're kind of recurring. So those are the benefits for a smaller class.
I actually thought it was a pretty cool idea. That could have been really helpful in a lot of classes that I've taken before. I mean, especially some of my earlier physics classes when I was kind of getting into engineering. A lot of students will have questions and they'll ask different things, and the professor can only get to certain questions. Sometimes there's questions that he'll spend a long time with that only one or two people had, which, I mean, it's good he answers them, but a lot of people are confused on something else, or a website like that or something that's interactive with a lot of students. The professor can kind of prioritize what needs to be done and then help answer things even afterwards. So it's definitely something I thought could be very useful in class. I mean, overall, it was a pretty innovative idea, something I really liked, and I think would be useful if I had it before in some other classes. So